Hi, in this video I'm going to discuss correcting entries, which is how accountants fix their mistakes. So correcting entries are journal entries that we do to fix mistakes that were made in previous journal entries. In accounting, you can't go back and delete journal entries. That's not allowed. You need to keep that trail of what happened in the past. So instead, you do correcting journal entries. Now, of course, if you never make any mistakes, there's no need for correcting entries, but every accountant makes mistakes. We record our correcting entries as soon as we find out that we've made an error. We do them as soon as possible. Of course, we need to do them before we do our closing entries for the year so that we can get all of the proper information in that year. There's two methods for recording correcting entries. The first method is to reverse the original incorrect entry and then just write the correct entry that they should have done in the first place. The second method is to write a single correcting journal entry. I'm going to go through both methods because you need to know how to do both. So here's case number one with method number one, the reverse and correct. So Mercado Company journalized and posted a $50 cash collection from a customer as a debit to cash and a credit to service revenue. On May 20th, they discovered their error. So on the 10th, they debited cash and they credited service revenue. So to correct that, we need to first do a reversing entry. A reversing entry is simply when you switch the debit and credit accounts of the original entry, because once you do the reversing entry, those two entries effectively cancel each other out. Now that we've canceled out the old entry, all we have to do is go in and put in the correct entry. They should have debited cash for the 50 and credited accounts receivable because it was a collection on the account. And now we can see that when you have all three entries, we end up with a $50 increase in cash and a $50 decrease in accounts receivable. So under this method, all three of these journal entries have been recorded in the general ledger. The original incorrect, then the reversing, then the correct. Now let's look at the same case, but correct it using a correcting entry. So again, our incorrect entry was made on May 10th. That one stays there, we can't delete it. Okay, we know what they should have done. They should have debited cash and credited accounts receivable. So we're going to do a single correcting entry to fix that by debiting service revenue and crediting accounts receivable. We're therefore removing the service revenue with the debit, and we're adding in the accounts receivable with the credit. So we still end up with the correct answer of the $50 in cash and the $50 in accounts receivable. Under this method, only the incorrect entry and the correcting entry are recorded in the general ledger because together those two entries equal the correct entry. Let's look at another example. On May 18th, Mercado Company purchased equipment on account costing $450. The transaction was journalized as a debit to equipment for $45 and a credit to accounts payable for $45. The error was discovered on June 3rd. So if we're doing the reverse and correct, first we reverse the original incorrect entry by switching the debits and credits, which cancels everything out. And then we record the correct entry, which should have been a debit to equipment for $450 and a credit to accounts payable for $450. If we do the correcting entry method, again we have our incorrect entry, which is a debit to equipment of $45 and a credit to accounts payable of $45. We know what they should have done. It should have been $450. So my correcting entry is just going to increase the equipment account and increase my accounts payable account by the additional $405 that we're missing. So again, we only enter the correcting entry, and the incorrect plus that correcting equals the $450, which is what they should have done in the first place. So now we've gone through the two methods of correcting entries, the reverse and then the correct, where you end up having three journal entries, the incorrect original entry, the reversal entry, and the correct entry. And then the second method, which was writing a single correcting entry, where you end up with two journal entries, the original incorrect and then the correcting, which together equal what they should have done in the first place.